Figured this video would start out really cool with my dirty wheel. Didn't look so dirty till the flash came on. So, Corvette C7 Z06. I have race pads on that need to come off for street time. So this is how you replace the front brakes on a C7 Corvette. Z06 is what this one is. I don't really care if it's a Grand Sport or a Stingray because they're pretty similar. I think the Grand Sports actually have the same brakes, and then the Stingrays, I don't really know much about them. So these are obviously not the ceramic brakes. If you have ceramic brakes, stop this video. If you don't know what that means and you own a Corvette, stop this video, sell the car. In terms of how this is going to work, car is up, it's on a lift. Jack stands, if you don't have a lift, is totally fine. There's two nice jack points under the car, so maybe sometime we'll do a video about those. But you just jack it up, make sure it's not going to fall on you, don't die. Nothing is worth dying for. In terms of tools, you need a super high quality 19 millimeter, also known as 3/4 inch lug nut socket, a awesome Harbor Freight leaks air hammer, which is easily replaceable because it's Harbor Freight, some sort of hammer. You need a 13 millimeter socket, and you need a very high-tech 5/30 4 millimeter. It's easier to use millimeters. Fractions suck. So anyhow, that's all you need. This will take the wheel off. This will take out the center pin on the caliper right there. And this will be used to drive out this pin and this pin so that all the stuff comes out. Very simple. This should be a very easy project for anyone that wants to replace their brake pads. I know folks don't like the stock brake pads. They worry about the brake dust. I'm actually not anal retentive, as you can see by my dirty wheels after a weekend of racing. And to be honest, the stock pads are insanely dusty. So I am replacing the Carbotech XP12s that I have on the front with some of the ever popular Carbotech 1512s. I guess I like spending a lot on brake pads, even though I don't know that they're better. They're just supposed to be less dusty, so yay for less dust. So now I'm going to use this tool and stick it on this thing, and I'm going to make magic happen. And through the amazing power of cinematography, you will hear sounds like and then the wheel will be off. Ta-da, the wheel is off. So now what we're going to do, 13 millimeter is going to go right there. This pin that you see here, 13 millimeters on the back of it. You'll back that off and this pin will come free. You will then take your punch, put it on the end of there and hit it gently, and you will drive the punch back, releasing this pin, and then the bottom pin will come out very easily. This whole metal piece is the clip that keeps pressure on the pads in. You can see the little arms right here. They keep pressure on the pads. So these two pins are held in by nothing but friction. This one has a 13 millimeter on this side that we're going to take off, and then we will talk about how we get the new pads in there and the incredibly complex process that people spend hours talking about to compress the pistons to get rid of the space here behind the pad. See, when the pads wear, you can see the piston in there. And oh my God, how are we going to get rid of that? Stay tuned. So after using the 13 millimeter on this thingy, you should be able to finish it off with your hand. And then this pin will be free. Now it may not come out because you can see there is a detent or recess cut there that is designed to have this clip right on it. So the next step now is going to be tap this pin back through with the punch. All right, as you're tapping this in, as soon as the tip of this clears the inside here, so you're going to be tapping in from the front. So it'll be tap, 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 tap. As soon as that clears there, you can see the whole pin kind of moves to an angle here. That's good. You can actually push in on this clip with your thumb. And if you have two hands, which I don't because I'm holding the camera, you can actually pull this top pin out. You saw me move it in with one finger just by pushing in here. So you push in here and you can pull that pin right out the back, and then the bottom pin is super easy to come out. And then you'll be able to pull out the pin across the middle as well. So I just pulled the pin. You can now see the whole clip will rotate forward. That was something falling out of my lap. This comes right out now, no friction at all. So you can remove that. That goes down here with your little 13 millimeter. And then the bottom one here, you can actually lift the clip out of the way. Now, I like to put the clip on the floor, and I like to take the pin that I pulled earlier, set it on the end that it came from, and then when I get this pin out, which I will do by tapping with the hammer and the punch, I'll put that on that end just so I know where they go. I don't believe you can screw up by putting the wrong pin in the wrong hole. You do see there is a up and down on this clip, so you do want to keep that orientation. Pretty sure if you try to put it in backwards, it won't line up and shit gets in the way and then you get frustrated. All right, so all the pins are out. So now we got to get these caliper pistons that have extended because I've eaten up my brake pads on the track. We need to get those to go back in. So people talk about tools and caliper compressors. I literally just squeeze. You have a huge flat surface in the way of the brake pad. So just squeeze. And over here, push. I'm not a big fan of getting into leveraging with screwdrivers or anything else. Just squeeze and push. And things will start to retract. You can see me getting a little bit of space right there. See, a little bit of play. Up here even more. It's hard to do with one hand, so I'm gonna set the camera down. I promise there will be no trickery here. Maybe I can even do this. Can I hold this between my legs? That's what she said. And film this. Only the best for YouTube. This is 100% an example of you get what you pay for in content delivery. I want it free. Sweet, you get a YouTube video. Some dude holding a phone in his crotch, squeezing his brake caliper. But there you go. Hopefully that appeared. Tons of play. Super compressed. No special tools. No drama. Just human strength. Brute strength. Grr. That's it. I'll do the same thing on the inside. I'm going to stop filming from my crotch because I'm afraid I'm dropping the phone. So I pulled out the pads after compressing them. Very exciting. New pads. You line them up. Somebody said this about these Carbotech pads. They have these little nubs on them. Apparently that's not, like, it doesn't work well with these cars. I don't know if it's hitting. Yeah, they actually hit. You can maybe see it here. You're gonna buy the Carbotechs. You see that? It's not even the piston. It's actually hitting the piston housing in there. You can see that. There's the pin. That thing in there, you might be like, oh, you don't have the piston pushed all the way in, but I do. And that hit. So I gotta take these over to the grinder and grind off those little nubs. Not a big deal. After I got back from urgent care because I took a fingertip off and lost an eye. No, I didn't. You just grind those off or file them or I don't know, get a friend in a Mustang to drag them through a crowd, and then they go right. Easy peasy. So basically, to undo the damage you've done and give your car the ability to stop again, you're going to replace these pads. I might need to compress that a little bit more. There we go. So you're going to replace these. Yeah, clearly, I do need to squeeze that one in a little bit more. But they go back in, and you're going to replace the pieces you put in there. So you're going to repeat the process you did. You have your pins down here, you have your bar across here, and you have your pin up here. So I will show you that in 1 second, right after I put the old pad back in and squeeze this a little bit more. I just finished recompressing, and you can see when this comes out, that piston is now flush. See, now flush, was not flush before. So I should be able to take the new pad and just, so you can see the whole caliper going together. There you go. Easy peasy. Now it's just a matter of putting stuff back on. So now there is one thing to notice about this pin. If you look at the end of it, it's not round. See how it's got flat sides? That's so it goes in here. Don't be a mo. Put it in like this. See, that's not right. You should be able to tell that's not right. If you can't tell that that's not right, don't do this. It goes in like that. Caliper's going to hold that in place. That is the wrench on this side. And then your 13 mil will come in over here. Now somebody's going to ask, what's the torque spec for that? I'm actually not sure, and I'll tell you how I've always done Brembos that have a pin like this, is I'll ratchet that in until it gets firm, and it gets firm really fast because calipers are designed to not flex. Obviously that would be really bad. So when this sort of hits the wall, it hits the wall, and then I just sort of give it a good push against the wall, and that's it. I'm sure somewhere there's a torque spec for that. I don't know what it is. Never have I used it ever on a Brembo, just because, like I said, they don't flex. So when you hit that draw-in point where you're not going anymore, I just give it a little nudge, and that has always worked well for me. All right, so now we've got our pin at the bottom, and I use this as an opportunity to sort of work it to align things. So now I know that that's aligned, and it just helps me, and I'll show you why here in a second. Now, you've got this big-ass clip that's going to go on here like so. How do you know which way is up? I have not a clue. It would be so great if they would tell you how to know which side points up. Oh well, I'm just going to guess. I'm going to guess that it goes like this. So, one-handed, I'm going to amaze everyone with my skills. So that goes in there. Oops, my clip came out. Geez, my magic is gone. So that's going to hold the clip here. That's going to balance over there, and you can see there's a notch here. And there's also a notch in the pin. Now, I'm not in the notch. Eventually, this clip is going to rest between that and that. Now, it's not there because I haven't driven the pin through. See? See? See how it's sticking out? This is the back of the pin right here. So this is how it's going to go together. You're going to push this down, and the pin up on the top is going to sit right at the tip of my finger. So I cannot do this with one hand as much as I would like to. I'm good at doing other things with one hand, but not this. So that's what it looks like before you have driven the pins in flush. You can see the little compression ring there, and then the head of the pin. Same thing up here. You can see that the clip is not fully in the channel because it needs to be driven that much. So if you add that here, look, oh wow, it's gonna work, wow. This sits in here just fine. And then down here at the bottom, same sort of thing. So really all that's left now is to take some hammer, and I'm not going to do this on the video because I don't want to destroy my caliper, but you're basically going to tap this little bad boy in until it's flush. When it gets really close, you turn it around. That's why they created hammers like this, well, amongst other things. And you'll pound those until they're flush. Take it easy so you don't chip your caliper like, you know, some spaz might have done. And that's it. Once you've done that, you're locked and loaded, and then you're ready to put the wheels back on. Your lug nuts have a torque spec of 100 foot-pounds. So you put your wheels back on, you'll torque your lugs, and then you're going to take your car out for the burnishing process, which is kind of dependent on the types of pads you put on. If they are track pads, there is one methodology you will use. If they are street pads, there is another. And this is where I get to say consult your pad manufacturer for details on how to burnish your pads. But that's it. Hey, there's me. Look, a reflection. Hey, guys.